Welcome to Gambletown,
We're
to the
going.
People's Democratic Republic of Gambletown. If we're being perfectly honest,
You
because
guys getting tired of this rain yet? It's been quite a while.
um, has it been raining?
No, rain
Oh,
spelt the
oh,
other way, Wally.
I
I think I've had I think I've been the commissar of Gambletown for like 6 or 7 weeks.
rain, not rain.
Yeah, like like rain,
That
like
makes a lot
rain
more
and blood.
sense.
Yeah, yeah. Let's run through
Well,
real
it's
quick.
too busy listening to Dido over there.
Um,
I'm also like posting the show.
by the way, I'm Tony. Ryan's here. Waleed's here. Super producer Josh is here. This is going to Gambletown. We're gonna do a brief run back while Waleed's promoting real quick. Last week, we were 9-6 on our top five bets of the week. Um, our last 4 weeks, we are 33-27. On the year, we are 91-89. Waleed, I am back to challenging you to King of the Parlays. We are once
Yep.
again tied at 7-17, which means we're both profitable. Ryan's at 4-20, but I have a feeling Ryan's also profitable because his parlays tend to be a little bit on the ballsier side.
Oh yeah, he goes
True.
big.
And I admire that about you, Ryan. I think that's good shit.
Oh
So,
yeah. Not to
um,
mention, I'm well over 500 on my top five bets of the week.
oh, you're carrying the torch, man. Waleed and I are cooked without you.
Yeah.
Ryan
Well, I'm
is
actually. I think I'm one game away from 500 now.
you're two
Technically.
games away from 500, and Ryan is a modest 12 games over.
Yeah,
Two
So
games. That
I'm
doesn't
like
sound bad.
75%.
Ryan's the one seed so far. So, got a full slate this week. Every team's playing. We had three on Thursday. Uh, and so I wanted to say what I said on the podcast. I want you guys to know that I turned the Bears game off with 46 seconds left. The Bears on Detroit's 25 with two timeouts, down three. So I'm assuming things went well.
Our
Yeah, they
coach was
kicked the
fired.
field goal and won.
Yeah, it was a four
No,
point field
that's
goal.
them kicking a field goal and winning is not things going well. Things went well because Eberflus Eberflused the hell out of that ending and got himself fired.
Fuck off.
Like sweet
Fuck off.
relief. I mean, 3 games in a row of that with that like record in one score games. Like he pretty much forced their hand. So is Thomas Brown the interim now?
He is.
That's interesting
Yes.
because I thought they would have gone with the defensive guy.
Let's go.
So,
Let's
so
let's get some
Do
like
they
big
pay him
sell out
twice
and
the
Sean.
salary, or do they upgrade a guy to OC?
I hope so. Well, the Bears' upcoming schedule is real tough. So if they can win two or three of those games, he's pretty much going to get a head coaching job
I'm
somewhere.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure I'm
he'll get
pretty
an
sure
OC job.
Virginia McCaskey was like, "Here you go. Here's your raise. $1."
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how thrilled Virginia McCaskey is that there's a black man coaching the Chicago
Right.
Bears, but let's move on.
Well, you know what that means though. That means right now the president, the general manager, and the head coach of the Chicago Bears all African American.
That's
Oh
true.
shit.
Yeah,
And
that's never happened.
no, it's true. So let's talk games. Let's move
And the
on. We're
Ty
going.
and the Tyler Bagent cheers continue.
So our first game of the week, we got Houston going to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Houston are road favorites. You can get them at minus 180 on the money line at DraftKings. A Jacksonville home upset plus 171. Spreads 3.5. Total is 44.5. Ryan, start us off.
I got to ask one question though. Does that make Tyler Bagent the DEI hire on the
Yes,
Bears? Okay.
100%.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Go woke, go broke, they say.
um guys, I don't know why the spread is only 3.5 in this game. I know I get it. It's a division
Divisional
game.
game.
The Jaguars are sneakily like 4-1 against the spread in their past 5 games, so that could have something to do with it too. We know Trevor Lawrence is back, but I'm seeing the Texans winning this game by at least a touchdown. We all, I think, have a lot of stuff in this game. But one of my let's see, one of my top five bets from this week is Nico's over 5.5 receptions. He's going to be a reception monster, and that'll correlate into some yards, which I know Tony and Wally got to talk about. But I also did do one of my same game parlays from this game. I got it in this morning because they announced Lawrence was going to play yesterday afternoon, but for some reason they didn't have any Jaguars receiving lines till this morning. So I went with BTJ's over 58.5. Nico's over 5.5 reception as one of my top 5 bets. I went with a mix and touchdown and the Houston money line. I did have an any sport 20 progressive boost. So since this is 4 legs, I got 25%.
Ooh,
So $5 down at plus 619 to win almost 36.
Very nice.
I love that bet because I was really close to pulling the trigger on a BTJ in my top 5 bets. The problem is I only like to have one bet per game in my top 5.
Sure.
And I'm sorry, like Tony and I were talking pretty much right away this week when we were doing our research that this is a fucking Nico week. Like Nico is my number one bet of the week. He's my favorite play.
Right. And
So
especially if, how Vegas is laying out the lines, they're predicting a pretty close game. So I don't think Houston's ever going to have to give up on passing the ball. So,
yeah.
All right. Ryan, anything else?
no, yeah,
Okay. Wally, take it away.
Well, basically, all it is in my usage model. The max you can get is 4. If you get 3 or higher, though, you're gonna get a lot of volume most likely. And Nico's at a 3, and Jacksonville's given up over the last 4 weeks over 10 yards per target to wide receivers, 10.7 to be exact. So I'm taking Nico. Like Nico is real strong, and that's like my baseline for looking at things. When you dig deeper, which I'm gonna let Tony do, it's Nico's a no brainer.
Yeah. Do you have anything else in this game you want to talk about?
I will say this: I also like C.J. Stroud's passing over and his I like him. I have one of my same game parlay is Nico Collins over 84.5 receiving yards. C.J. Stroud over 2 passing touchdowns paired with the Nico touchdown. Um, $10 pays me at plus 314. I used the bonus bet on this, so it's going to give me $31.41.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
So, just a quick
CJ
run.
CJ Stroud is at 263.5 while lead. Sorry.
Yeah, but Jacksonville is giving up. They give up the most yards per pass attempt. Like they're top 3 in the league, and they have been all year. You've consistently been able to get yardage in the passing game on
Yeah.
Jacksonville, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about CJ Stroud's sophomore slump, but at the same time, his best game that he's had so far this year was against Jacksonville. So,
And his
Yep.
sophomore slump isn't that bad. He's still been a good quarterback. He hasn't been good in fantasy, but he has been a good quarterback. Everyone's acting like Houston's been this like average team. They haven't been.
Right.
They've been a good football team.
Right.
Yeah, they
He
dropped one
just
last
yeah.
week. I also think it's also worth noting a plus 100-yard bet on Joe Mixon is a safe bet since he's gotten there. What was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 games, and one of the games he left early. So 2 times this year he hasn't really hit it. They're gonna keep feeding him. Keep betting Joe Mixon overs.
okay. So, I'm going to talk a little Nico Collins shit. It should be pretty obvious to anyone who who listens to our show, but I want to just quickly recap my formula. Got this formula going. It takes every different type of coverage that players face from man to all zone combined, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, takes the top 5 in separation score for each of those, breaks down how many yards per route run they get, targets per route run, how often they win their routes, how often they're going to be facing that coverage, how many fantasy points per dropback the defenses allow, how many fantasy points per dropback the quarterback scores, and then EPA for that defense. And so I drop them into buckets. And so far, overall, the model is 14-7.
Yes.
So
Nice.
for receiving yards overs. Now, guys that get a score of 6 so far this year are a perfect 7 for 7. And
The sevens have been really good too, except for injury and like weird penalties.
that's true. But 6s so far remain undefeated after Lad McConkey hit last week. So Nico Collins, noteworthy. He got a 6 3 different times in 3 different categories. So Nico Collins is posting elite matchup scores against all zone coverages, cover threes, and cover fours. So that's why Nico Collins is my millionaire bet of the week. I got him at 85.5 on BetMGM. I saw later that he was at 81.5 on FanDuel, so I just did a straight of that too, because fuck it. My same game parlay here is Nico over 81.5, Tank Dell over 51.5 because he got a 5 out of 8 in my model, and a Houston money line, which would get me to plus 513, hung $10 on it, bring me back 61. So I like Tank Dell as a guy that's going to get you 60 yards. I'm hoping Nico goes for 100 and a touch.
Yep.
I've said off air, if Nico Collins can go 100 and a touch, I'm a very wealthy man this weekend. Because
Also,
everything
guys,
I have, a lot of what I have is played into that.
also
Um,
guys, one last thing from this game. I only need what 54, 55 yards for BTJ to hit
about
his
that.
season over.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. We're right
Yeah,
there.
He's a long bet.
he's at 697. He's at right now. I need 750 and a half.
So Ryan's preseason call of BTJ looking pretty good. All right, let's move on to our next game. We have the Chargers going to Atlanta. Chargers are road favorites again, a minus 109 on Profit X on the money line. Falcons home wins plus 105. Spread is a toss up. It's +1 to -1.5, depending on where you go. Total is 47.5. Wall lead, start us off.
And I'm going to pass it along to you guys. I don't really have anything in this bet in this game I like. Lad McConkey is interesting to me, but I don't love him as much as I could, or maybe
Okay.
should.
Okay.
Who is Darnell Mooney the slot receiver most of the time
No,
or is
he
he
plays
playing
boundary.
boundaries? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because the Chargers are giving up like over 10 yards per target over the last 4 weeks. Two slot receivers, but I don't really feel like betting that. I think that's going to be a low scoring game, and I don't really want to touch it.
I love Mooney this week for what it's worth.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Ryan.
I know this game is at home in Atlanta, but I'm feeling a sneaky Chargers win. I don't think it needs to be that sneaky. I think Chargers have just been playing better lately.
I mean,
Um,
they are the
and the
favorite,
Falcons,
so
right? Well, barely. I mean, um, the Falcons right now are 7-15 against the spread in their last 22 games, while the line is between -3 and +3, and the line is at 1.5. So even if Atlanta wins, it might be a 1 point game. So but I think Chargers ultimately win this game by a field goal or a touchdown. So, but
Okay.
otherwise, I don't have any player props from this game.
Okay. I wanted to. So when we did our TH Fantasy Podcast DFS lineup this week, we snuck Darnell Mooney in there as our flex. I wanted to point out that the Chargers run two high safeties at the second highest rate in the league. And against
ooh,
two high, Mooney has a 29% first read target share.
that's
So,
interesting.
so he, like, I'm not sure. It could be a Mooney spike week. I want a share of him in DFS just because I'm interested. I don't have, like, the model's not pinging him, but
Yeah,
we all love Darnell Mooney here, right?
yeah, we do.
So he's a guy I like to bet on because he was done dirty in Chicago. Anyways,
Yes.
Lad McConkey's over at 66.5 is one of my top 5 bets of the week. He is a 5 on the model guy. He's reached 4 or more receptions in 7 of his last 8. Atlanta also will play a ton of cover 3, and he's getting targeted on over a quarter of his routes against cover 3. They're a good slot defense, but I like the thing I like about Lad is they'll use him all over the formation, and I think
And they
this
have to
game
play him. They have to play a coming home montage for him. So like he's gonna go off. You
Going
know.
back to
Oh, that's
Georgia.
right. He's got the storyline on his side too.
I also think I think that this game I actually feel the opposite of you guys. I feel like there's a chance this game shoots out.
Okay.
I really like Bijan as a matchup play. As we know, the Chargers are passing a ton lately, which we love.
And that's not gonna get any less with Gus Bus being the captain,
Right.
or
Exactly.
the bus driver, if you will.
It's a Vidal week.
And I also think if you want to get real fucking weird with it, I'm probably only doing this in like giant scale contests to kind of mix things up a little bit. Schematically, this matchup also works for QJ. I know,
Okay.
deaf ears. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, like it'll work if he catches it.
I mean, dude, he left like 60 yards on the field last week. So, all right, let's move on. Tennessee, Washington. Tennessee on the road. Commanders are home favorites. Bettors are forgetting that Cliff Kingsbury is still the offensive coordinator and it's late in the season. Commanders minus 250 money line. Tennessee plus 223. Spread is 6. Totals 44.5. Ryan, start us off.
See, guys, I don't have too much from this game, but I will tell you that the Titans are 2-9 against the spread. That's a league worst this year.
That's not good, is it?
No. Um, what do they always say on Sports Grid? Good teams are good, but great teams cover or something like that.
Good,
Great
yeah,
good
great team
teams,
cover.
yeah, good teams win, great teams cover.
Yep.
Um, so I'm thinking that this is going to be a Washington win. We did slot in Tony Pollard into our DFS lineup. So I think he's got a good matchup. But other than that, I don't know how this slowed down Washington offense is going to do against this pretty decent Titans pass defense.
They're also on their
Um,
third or fourth string running backs. Like it's not looking.
B-Rob's
yeah,
going to play.
Oh, B-Rob's
B-Rob's gonna
playing.
play, but
Yep.
he remember he tweaked his ankle last week, so that could always get re-injured.
Yeah.
So I'm hesitant to do anything with him this week, even though I have some shares of him in redraft. But you pretty much have to start him because he's always got that touchdown potential. But other than that, I don't have any player props in this game. I have a good feeling that Washington's going to win and cover.
Okay. I have nothing in this game, so Wally, go ahead.
So I
You're
do
gonna
have a
say
top
all the
five bet.
Tony Pollard shit that I want to say.
Oh well, here's the thing. Washington is still giving up on the season like over 5 yards per rush attempt. Um, over the last 4 weeks, still over 5. It's not as high. It was 5.1 on the season. It's gone down a little bit, but last week we saw them make a choice to feed Pollard, and they actually won. I think they're going to continue to do that because the more you keep the ball out of Will Levis's hands, the better. Unless like his Mason Rudolph taking over again, like it keeps kind of going back and forth, so it's hard for me to keep up.
It's all Will Levis.
Until Will Levis, that means it's going to be all Tony Pollard. I love Tony Pollard this week. In fact, my millionaire bet is 2 touchdowns for Tony Pollard at plus
Yeah.
1100,
Okay.
or plus
I love
1,000 to
hearing-
pay 110.
I love hearing all the things that we talked about when we were building our DFS lineup last night. Sound like
Yeah.
things you guys are confident in going into here. Love that
Yeah.
for me. Okay, so yeah, I love Pollard. Even with Spears coming back, doesn't matter. He's fourth among all running backs in yards after contact per attempt, 2.85. Washington allows the second most yards before contact per attempt at 2.6. So if we're looking at 5 yards a run, why would you need to pass? Right?
Sure.
Washington also allows the second most rushing yards per game to opposing running backs at 120 yards. So I love Tony Pollard. We'll talk about him as we get closer to DFS. So yeah, let's move on. Let's go to is it Minnesota? Yeah, Minnesota's hosting Arizona. Minnesota home favorites minus 162 on the money line. A Cardinals road win is plus 150. Pretty low odds, interestingly. Spread is 3. Total is 44.5 to 45, depending on where you look. Waleed, start us off.
I don't really have anything in this game.
Cool.
Like this is a game that I just kind of want to watch for football's sake.
Okay. Ryan?
Yeah, this is going to be a very fun game to watch. I at the beginning of the week when I started looking at this matchup, I'm like, Arizona's been playing pretty good. Um, they they might have a chance to sneak a close win out, but I will say Vikings have 7 straight games where they've covered. I know their offense has kind of not been lackluster, but has kind of
It's
slowed
slowed
down
down.
from the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
See, I feel
Um,
like Arizona's been winning games, but I don't know that they've played very well. Like they've been very inconsistent. And
Yes.
I'm kind of curious to see how Kyler reacts to that Brian Flores defense, because I could see him like running around, like getting a lot of stuff in his legs, getting some nice little dump offs to McBride. But then again, they're good defending the tight end, so I don't know. Like this is a game that like Minnesota's defense does well against Arizona's strengths. So I kind of
Sure.
want to see if Arizona can hold up. This is going to be like a litmus test for me, but I kind of feel like Minnesota's just going to dominate them.
Sure. I was hesitant to bet any of the McBride props. I might go in later and do like a McBride or Marvin Harrison touchdown. But
I love
they were
McBride. I love
they were out
McBride.
of
I am
my
not touching him.
yeah, they were out of my, you know, top 5 anything for the show this week. So, I mean, I'm always, I'm a degenerate gambler, so I'm going to do something from this game.
Hey,
Just
you live in
not confident,
Gambletown. You have to
just not
be.
enough, just not enough to be public about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I have nothing in this game as well. I am also looking forward to some good football. I hope you Trey McBride owners enjoy. I'm not going to be putting much on him, especially in like DFS or gambling, because the way Minnesota schemes, I think it's like Trey McBride, 6 catches, 43 yards, no touchdowns. And that doesn't do
Right.
much for me, especially at his cost. All right. So let's move on. We got the Colts going to New England. Colts road favorites minus 134. Patriots plus 128 for a home win. Spreads 2.5. Total is 42.5 or 43, depending on where you look. Ryan, what do you got?
Guys, I got a crazy feeling about this game. All right.
Handball?
I'm take Yeah, I'm taking the New England money line at I got it yesterday at plus 124.
Ooh.
What was it at? It's
He's at
126
128
now.
right now.
I got 126 on FanDuel. I got it at 124 on FanDuel yesterday. Um, after hearing Shane talk yesterday about Drake May's rushing yards prop, I do like that from this game. It's up a yard. Last week was 26 and a half. This week it's 27 and a half. Um, and I feel like the Colts, they play in a dome half of the year, more than half of the year. Um, so maybe they have what, 2 to 3 cold weather games a year. So they don't have a lot of experience playing in cold weather. They're going to Gillette. It's gonna be cold. Boston's basically gonna have the same weather we're having. They're in the vortex that came down from Canada. Like it's only like 20 degrees here right now. Um, so Indianapolis is going to be playing out of their comfort zone, and I think New England will have a chance to have a sneaky win in this game. So that's why they're in my 4-leg money line parlay this week. Also, guys, Hunter Henry, I don't know what's going on with him and DFS salary, but he's producing every week. Last week he had 5 catches on 8 targets
Yep.
he hit his over 44 yards. He almost had a touchdown. Yet he went down $100 in salary. So once again, guys, this week he is my mid-tier kind of shitty tight end of the week. That means he is also one of my top 5 bets of the week at Hunter Henry's over 4.5 receptions. Guys, if you could even take his yards, it's one more yard than it was last week. It's 44 and a half. But Hunter Henry is a safety blanket for Drake May. When he just is scrambling and needs to get the ball out quick, Hunter Henry's usually there. He's getting the targets, he's getting the catches. I also feel like he's going to get a touchdown this week. So I'm taking a sneaky New England win.
Okay. Waleed?
I kind of like it because I was looking at this game and I'm like, I could see this being a game where New England upsets the Colts. Colts have been kind of running hot now. It feels like there's going to be a moment where they run back down to earth. I'm really interested in Jonathan Taylor's line. Like, I think it could be a fun play, but I don't feel confident enough to actually bet it. So I think, you know what? I'm not betting this game. I'm just going to enjoy watching this game and hope the Patriots sneak out a win against the Colts because it only
I will.
helps the Bears draft position.
I'll say this. Since Richardson returned to the lineup, so post the Buffalo game,
Yeah.
he has 35 carries for 92 yards.
Ooh. Okay, and that's the danger with those running quarterbacks. So,
Yep. So I think Richardson does a lot of work on the ground this week.
Yeah.
I could see the Patriots winning. If I put money on the Patriots to win, I'm putting it on the under as well, and I'm pairing them together because this game, if the Patriots win, I think it's a 13-10.
That's a good bet, I think.
Um,
I don't
but
know. Like, I agree with you, but there's a part of my brain that feels like this is going to be a wacky scoring game.
it could be. I just can't see a noon cold kickoff game in New England being a high scoring game.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
true.
all right, so let's move on. Pittsburgh going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati home favorites minus 155 on the money line. A Pittsburgh road win is plus 140. The spread is 3. The total is 47 and a half. Waleed.
I mean, we're going T Higgins here. His receiving over at 67 and a half. I just this is honestly, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I'll let you talk about it because I'm just tailing your model at this point.
Okay.
On this one.
Absolutely. I will do that in a moment. Ryan, you go ahead.
All right, guys. I don't have any specific player props from this game, but I got some stuff to talk about in terms of the money line. I'm going with the
Okay.
Cincinnati money line. All right, they're part of my parlay this week. Now, we've got some stuff that historically is going against that line, but what I'm interested in doing is taking the over in this game, um, and the Cincinnati money line. All right, overs right now are 6-0 when the Bengals face teams with winning records. All right.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the Bengals are 0-6 outright in those games. So this
I'm
will be
getting
the
mixed
game.
messages from you, Ryan.
This will be the game that breaks that mold. They can't. They're not going to go 0-7. Come on,
They've
guys.
been really unlucky in that 0-6 too.
Yeah. Right.
Joe Burrow's having
Right.
one of the best seasons of his career that's being erased by a bad
Right.
breaks.
So
Yeah.
I'm going against the history and saying that it's not gonna. They're not gonna stay winless in these over games. So over in the Cincinnati money line. That's what I like.
Okay. So T. Higgins got a 5 this week in my receiver model. Let's see. So when he's played this year, in terms of fantasy points per game, he's been wide receiver 6. He's had 4 or more catches, 60 or more receiving yards in all of his last 5 full games. He does lead the Bengals in target share, 26.5%. He leads the team in air yard share, 37.6%. And he's second in the NFL in first read share at 37.6%.
Interesting.
What Tony's saying is T Higgins is going to get paid this offseason.
As he should. So, the Steelers allow the 6th most yards per route run and the 5th most yards per target to receivers lined up out wide. So, T. Higgins, his receiving over is one of my top 5 bets of the week. I got it at 67.5. Now, as it comes to like larger plays and this whole game as a whole, I saw an interesting stat via NFL Ref Stats on X, the Everything app. If you're a Nazi, the referee for this game is Sean Hockley.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Sean Hockley. So hang on. So Sean Hockley, this year, his ref 10 games, and his games are 8-2 to the under in 2024 this year. In interdivisional games in his career, he's 26-12. Those games hitting the under, 70%. His crew, 64% of their calls go against the offense, and he is doing Steelers Bengals this week. So
We're breaking the mold.
Well, I hope, dude. I would love it because both of these defenses suck ass. So like, I will definitely be doing a DFS lineup that's got a Bucks super stack in it, which we'll talk about in a minute. But also, I want to do a Bengals super stack where I'm doing Burrow, Higgins, Chase, Pickens, and then just Kamani Vidal, something stupid like that
Right.
to
Yeah,
fill
yeah.
out the rest. Because if this game hits, this game goes crazy, and I think that Pickens also has an incredible matchup. But I am going in terms of top 5 bets of the week this week. It's T. Higgins as a model play as a 5. So let's go to the Jets. This game, which is my game I'm least looking forward to this week, has Seattle going to the Jets. Both teams minus odds on the money line. Spread is 1 in either direction. Total is 41 and a half. Ryan.
I personally have nothing from this game. I just really hope that Rodgers decides to retire. That's all.
All right.
He wants
Wally,
to come back next year to the Vikings, I hear.
what an
Yeah, but he
idiot.
doesn't want to play for the Jets.
To the Vikings.
So hopefully just bench him.
All right, Wally, what do you got?
Nothing. This game sucks. This game can go fuck itself.
Oh my gosh, it is going to be the Vikings, isn't it? Sam
That's-
Darnold. Sam Darnold leaves for his Baker Mayfield era, but McCarthy's not well enough after getting his leg scraped 5 times to take over the starting role. So you bring in Raj. Oh god, it is.
Time is circle.
So I really wanted to bet on this game earlier in the week because it's a West Coast team going to the East Coast for a noon game. But unfortunately, West Coast teams traveling to the East Coast for an early slate game only cover the spread at a 29% rate. But since the spread is so goddamn close, it's not even advantageous to bet it. So
Yeah.
fuck this whole game.
Agreed.
All right. Rams, Saints. Rams on the road. They are road favorites, minus 138 on the money line. Saints home win is plus 130. Spread 2.5. Total 49.5. Waleed.
This game I fucking love. I wish I could bet on Derek Carr because this would be a game for him to get some passing yards. But I do like me both running backs in this game.
You mean
Kyren
Taysom
Williams-
Hill and
we're not gonna give me game props. There we go. No, but Alvin Kamara, Kyron Williams, both are great DFS plays this week. I think. But the guy that I like the most is Puka Nacua. Over the last 4 weeks, the Saints are giving up almost 12 yards per target to wide receivers lined up wide. This is a Puka game, I think.
Yep.
And it is one of my top 5 bets of the week, I should point out. At
Okay.
79.5, I took that over.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Ryan?
I don't have any player props from this game. This will be another fun game to watch. But I probably will do something in a parlay, like a spread or an over and under parlay with this game. I do like the Rams minus 2.5. The Rams have been road favorites 6 times in the past 3 seasons, and they're 5-1 against the spread in those games. So I like the Rams minus 2.5.
Okay. I am on Puka this week also as one of my top 5 bets of the week. I have Puka. I also got him at 79.5. In all of his non-punching a dude in the face games since returning from injury, he's had 7 or more catches, 98 or more receiving yards. Going up against a team that allows the 3rd most receiving yards per game to out wide receivers at 121.8. I have done a couple of DFS stacks this week that, just to play with the uncertainty, are either Carr, Kamara, Puka, or Carr, Taysom, Puka.
Ooh.
Just
Love it.
to try to cover my bases on these, because I like Carr, but I can't in good conscience shoehorn in MVS in a high stakes tournament.
Well,
I don't have that money.
to give you confidence, Tony. So this new coaching staff won't shut up about how much they love Taysom Hill.
I know.
They kiss the ground that this man walks on, and when you see the tools that they have at their disposal, Tony, it makes sense. Would you rather give the ball to MVS, or would you rather give it to Taysom Hill?
I'm a little disappointed because when Josh said, "Let me give you hope," I thought he was going to start talking about MVS, and I was waiting for that argument.
Real quick, Patty says, "Don't speak the Rogers to Minnesota stuff into existence." Ryan.
That was me speaking it into existence.
I will talk as much shit about Rodgers as I want.
Here's what I will say. Rams, on the usage model, like what boundary wide receivers, they are like a 3 on my usage model scale. And over the last 4 weeks, they're giving up almost 12 yards per target to outside wide receivers. And MVS will probably like get open, and if he can catch it, like I could easily see him hitting his over and being a solid DFS play. The problem is, like, if you put him in your lineup and he doesn't hit, you're gonna just feel like shit because you should have
Right.
known better.
Right. I will say that every time I think about Taysom Hill now, I think about when we did our 100 episode spectacular and we talked about the odds that at some point uh, Sean Payton sniffed cocaine in front of Taysom Hill, and that just always tickles me. Coach, no.
Is he the first player that has like the ability to have like a single guy 3 like touchdown parlay of a passing reception and a running touchdown? Like,
Do you know that Josh Allen did that once in the playoffs
oh
When he-
really?
in year 2? Yeah, it was him against the bad man in the playoffs, and he caught one from Devin Singletary.
Oh,
and-
that's so
and
funny.
ran one and threw one. Yeah, those were the days. All right, so let's go Tampa Bay and New Orleans. I don't know if you guys have heard the most recent Xavier Leggett sound drop, but it's wonderful about eating raccoon for Thanksgiving.
He means Carolina, by the way, but
Same thing. They're all the same. All right, Tampa Bay, Carolina. Tampa Bay road favorites minus 238 on DK on the money line. Carolina plus 223 for a home win. Spread is somewhere between 4.5 and plus 6. And the total is 46.5. Ryan?
Guys, Tampa's going to win this game, but I'm hesitant to bet the spread because Carolina's covered in their last 3 or 4 home games. So they could make this close, like they
it's the
did
ghost of
against,
Adam Thielen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coach is doing a good job.
Right. They could make this close, just like last week's matchup. But let's see. Top 5 bets of the game this week. I love Mike Evans in this game. So I'm going with Mike Evans 4.5 receptions over. I also have Tampa Bay in my money line parlay this week.
Okay.
But yeah, Tampa's gonna win, but I'd be hesitant to bet that 5.5.
Okay. Waleed.
So, one of my top 5 bets of the week. There are 2 bets. There's 2 things I like in this game. There's only one thing I will bet because I am not a sadist. But Kate Otten this week, over the last 4 weeks, Carolina is giving up 11 yards per target to tight ends, and specifically 11 yards per target to inline routes. Kate Otten at 41.5 receiving is a no-brainer to me. Like this is such a good line. The other line that I keep wanting to like look at, but I can't make myself do it, is Tommy Tremble over 18.5. Tampa Bay is one of the worst
Really?
defenses against tight ends.
Sanders
But
is out.
I will not. Yeah, Jatavian Sanders is out. That's why I think. But I actually think what I like with Tommy Tremble is he's a great cheap DFS play at tight end to throw your money elsewhere. Like if you look at when you look at my football absurdity lineup, he is going to be my tight end. And when you see the receivers I have because of it, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, this is a very top-heavy week for
Yeah.
DFS.
That's
So
how
you're-
I'm playing it.
Yeah, you're trying to find as many leverages as you can with cheapy guys try to get you 8 points, 10 points.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bucky Irving's rushing over is one of my top 5 bets of the week at 56.5. Bucky fucking erupted last week, and I think he is now just the guy when it comes
Yeah.
to running the ball.
He should be. He should have been like weeks ago.
He should have been. So Carolina allows the most rushing yards per game to opposing running backs. So I love Bucky's at 56.5. I think
Yeah.
game script plays into this. I think it's a lot like last week where they go up by 2 scores early and they start running. However, since Mike Evans was on the model last week, thank God they just kept scoring. Shout out to Baker Mayfield and the guy who I really kind of want to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears, Liam Cohen.
Really?
Oh yeah, that offense is fucking.
That off.
humming.
You know what? That offense. That's a good call. Like, there's a part of me that just like keeps seeing that they keep changing OCs and Baker just keeps getting better. So it makes me less excited. I'm still gonna be all about Ben Johnson, but Liam Cohen's a guy I'd be happy with.
Well, that offensive line is beat to shit, and they managed to keep Baker upright and create yards before contact for their running backs, and that's really all I
Good
want.
call.
Sure.
It's really all I want.
Yeah, because we
but,
haven't seen what Ben Johnson does with a bad offensive line, so
That's
we don't know
correct.
how that's going to work.
Before we leave this game, can I give my parlay that I did with this game?
Sure.
It if you guys want to bet it, go ahead and bet it. It's not one of my two show parlays this week. It's just something I felt confident in. Baker Mayfield's over 1.5 touchdowns or passing touchdowns. Mike Evans touchdown. Bucky Irving touchdown. Mike Evans over 4.5 receptions. Bucky Irving over 56.5.
Love it.
Oh, I love that. That's a fun one. Throw that in the group chat because I
Okay.
might tail that.
All right, so let's move on to the game of the week. Philly at Baltimore. Baltimore home favorites, minus 142 on the money line. Philly plus 140 to come in and win. Spread is Baltimore plus 3, or sorry, Philly plus 3. And the line is somewhere between 50 and a half and 51 and a half. Waleed.
I got nothing in this game.
Okay. Ryan.
This game could be spicy. All right, this might be potential for a game of the week. I've got a couple things in this game. I know Tony's got some stuff from this game. Let's see. To start off, we're gonna go with AJ Brown's over 5.5 receptions. I feel like that's easy against this Baltimore offense. He's gonna be fed the ball. Um, I hope that the yardage hits, but I was just more confident in the receptions than I was in the yardage. Also, Mr. Mark Andrews, strong DFS play this week. His line's only at 2.5 receptions, and he's gotten 5 and a touchdown in like I don't every single game for like the last 5 games. I don't know what's going on. Um, why it's only at 2.5. I thought it would be at like 3.5, but Andrews over 2.5 receptions and AJ Brown over 5.5 receptions. I like that this week. If you guys want to, since this is going to be an exciting game, if you want to put the over in play, I know it's kind of high at 50.5, but Ravens are 10-2 this year with overs in every single game they play.
Ooh,
So, and both offenses know how to score.
that's
So
true.
let's make this an exciting game.
Okay. One of my top 5 bets of the week is Arthur Juan Brown, my friends, to go over 86 and a half receiving yards. This is another guy who I have everywhere. I can't even tell you the horrible things that I've done to my life to have DFS lineups that have Nico and AJB in them. Doesn't matter. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. I'm crazy. I just want to point out really quick.
My condolences.
Uh,
Jesus.
That's okay. So AJ got hurt in the Jacksonville game, so he only played a quarter and a half. In his other games, he's only gone over this total. He's only gone under this total once.
Yep.
Games of 109, 109, 85, 89, 116, 119. So put that up against the worst pass defense in football, and I'm in. Philadelphia's line is not as good as it used to be, but Baltimore's pass rush isn't quite as good as it used to be either. Philadelphia tends to run the ball. Philadelphia is one of the highest, if not the highest, rush over expectation offenses in football right now, which means AJ's only running like 28 to 29 routes a game. But this defense is so porous and so bad on the back end that this could be a game where AJ takes a slant 80 yards to the house.
Yeah.
So I'm all over AJB this week. One of my top 5 bets of the week. I think this game is just going to be a ton of fucking fun. I think it's a game that even if it's 21-17, it's still going to be a fun game to watch just because there's so much talent on both sides of the ball. However, I think the way the matchups play out, I think Ryan's onto something when he says the over still might be fun and something worth looking at because these defenses, I mean, Philadelphia's defense is stepping up lately, but if there's someone that can hang points on you, no matter how good your defense is playing, it's Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
All right.
I'm seeing
So,
like 30 to 24, 30 to 27. Might be pretty close.
oh, that'd be heaven. All
Right.
right. So, let's go to Sunday night. Been waiting all day
Can I
for it.
just? I want to throw one last thing in this game because
Sure.
I was looking at it because this is to me this is a battle of Saquon versus Derrick Henry. If we did a two touchdown parlay for both Saquon and Henry, you get plus 1347 for both of them to score 2 touchdowns. Which I think those are
Ooh.
actually that's a good price for that because I feel like that could easily be something that happens in that game.
It's a lot of touchdowns.
It's a lot of touchdowns, but like you getting plus 1300 odds for guys who get 2 touchdowns like in 50% of their games.
True.
I mean, I can't tell you you're wrong there.
Yeah, it's a pure math play.
Sure. I hate math. So, let's go to Sunday Night Football. We've got the 49ers and Bills. Bills home favorites. They are minus 250 on money line on DraftKings. 49ers road wins plus 244. Spread is between 6 and 6.5. Total is 44.5. Ryan, what do you got?
I'm probably not gonna bet on this game unless I win really big from the 12 or 3 o'clock games. There's a lot of uncertainty with this game right now. I don't know if you guys saw. There was some stuff on Twitter. They're getting a lot of snow right now. Out in the Great Lakes area out east by Buffalo. A lot of I've seen pictures of like I-90 closed down today, and truck and a lot of people are stranded. Um, I-90 is a huge traffic. I don't think it's people going to the Buffalo game, but um, there's it's what happens when we get a huge winter storm out here, Tony, in Chicago, and Waleed and Josh. It gets super cold and windy the next day. So only thing I might do is like the under on this game. Uh, I'm not confident in betting any lines in this game. So just because of the weather uncertainty.
Okay. Waleed?
See, my thing is there's only one thing I want to bet in this game, and until I know if Brock Purdy is going to play, I can't.
He's got
I'm like,
lines.
he's got lines. But until I know that he is active, I'm not making a bet. So I will wait till the last minute because,
Sure.
like, oh, what am I doing here?
No, I agree. If I'm going to do any bets in this game, it's going to be 15 minutes before the game starts.
Yeah,
I will say Shane did have, which might translate into a good shit weather game. He had Cook touchdown, right, Tony?
Yep. He had a James Cook anytime touchdown.
but
Yeah, keep going,
yeah,
Waleed.
no. I just realized I put something in wrong. Um, Maybe I wouldn't because I thought I had a 4 on my usage model, but I don't. I'm actually going to change one of my top 5 bets of the week here because I just realized I made a mistake. So
Okay.
I have nothing in this game. Sorry, we'll just leave it at that.
Time is 12:52 Central. Wally just admitted that he made a mistake.
Log it. Someone clip that. So I'm going to tell you this. One of the plays that I didn't put on the sheet because I had already put the sheet together before Brock Purdy had lines, but something that I do have a straight play in is a guy that got a 5, or sorry, he got a 6 in my
You
model.
got a
It's
6.
Jawan Jennings. The only things that stop Jawan Jennings from having a perfect score is that Buffalo is pretty good at limiting EPA and fantasy points when playing cover 2. However, Jawan Jennings, first in separation against cover 2, fourth in yards per route run, second in targets per route run, first in win rate. Buffalo's in cover 2, ninth highest. And Brock Purdy is 7th in fantasy points per dropback against that coverage. So I like Jawan Jennings a lot this week. My 6s tend to hit.
Can he do that in the snow, though?
Well, we'll find out. And that's what I love is the chaos. So
we saw some good receiving in the snow game this last Thursday. Not this Thursday, but the Thursday before for first ball.
We did.
Like,
and I'll tell you this. If you're going to trail any of this stuff that I'm saying for DFS and you like Jawan, because I think Jawan's like 61 or 6,200 this week on FanDuel, what I did was I took Juwan because if for some reason Purdy can't go and it's declared at the last minute, you can pivot to Cooper, who's in the same game at the same price.
Yeah.
So let's move on then. Then we are gonna go. I think it's gonna be a fun game. We are gonna go now to Denver. Denver hosting Cleveland on Monday night. Denver has their favorite at home. They're minus 240 on the money line. Cleveland is plus 223 on the money line. Spread is 5.5 or 4.5, depending on where you go. And the total is 41.5. Waleed.
So yeah, I had this in the wrong spot, but the thing that I changed my top 5 bet to, I took out T. Higgins to put in Devon Vele at over 31.5 receiving yards because Cleveland on boundary receivers, they're not very good. And who's the lead? Is it Ward? Is he the lead cornerback?
Yeah, but
Cleveland?
he's
Yeah.
hurt, I believe.
Oh, is he? I was gonna say he's gonna be on Sutton because I kind of like Sutton, but I mean, I think DeVale Ward is going to have some real good looks. Over the last 4 weeks, to wide receivers, Cleveland's giving up 11.2 yards per target. They're giving up, for wide receivers lined out wide, 12.6 yards per target. Vele has been, over the last month, he's number 2 in routes. He's number 2 in targets per route run. And his line's only 31.5.
Yep.
So I feel like that's just a broken line, and I want to take advantage of it.
Ryan's going against Devon Vele in a very big, important redraft game this week, and both you and Shane are taking Devon Vele's overs, and I'm hoping you're right because I'm the man starting Devon Vele against Ryan.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan. I don't mean to throw hate at you.
That's all right. This is my diabetic coma game of the week. So I'm going with the under on this game at 42.5.
I will say I love the under in this game. 100%.
Yeah. Let's see. The only things I got from this game, I'm not doing any player sets. Only things I got right now is going to be Denver to win and the under at 42.5. Guys, the Browns are horrible. The last 11 games, their third down conversion rate, the last 11 games, 27%. That's not going to win. That's not going to win games against like pretty much arguably the number 1 defense in the league.
Sure.
They're not going to win.
When Ryan said the Browns were horrible, I was like, end of statement.
You didn't need to say anything after that.
That's really bad. So I'm hesitant to bet the spread, but Browns win and the under for sure. I'm parlaying those two together.
Okay. So
and I might I might do a spike bet too. Vele like under his alternate 20 yards
25 or something.
Yeah.
Just to be a dick. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So
Ryan hate betting over here.
So Ryan, since you are the clubhouse leader in top 5 bets of the week, why don't you start us off?
Guys, I'm going all receptions this week. I don't know why, but that's how I just feel this week. All right. Reception overs. AJ Brown over 5.5. Mike Evans over 4.5. Nico over 5.5. Hunter Henry over 4.5. And Mark Andrews over 2.5. Those are my top 5 bets. All reception props this week.
I was looking at that Henry, and I kept seeing in my brain it was Derrick Henry. I'm like, Derrick Henry? How is that line 4.5 receptions? That's a crazy line. No, it makes a lot more sense, and I do like that. I like that Henry line a lot more when the first name is Hunter.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have one more, right? Or did you say them all?
He said
I said them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Waleed.
Top 5 bets of the week. Nico Collins over 84.5 receiving yards. Tony Pollard over 64.5 rushing yards. Cade Otton over 41.5 receiving yards. Puka Nacua over 79.5 receiving yards. And Devon Vele at 31.5 receiving yards. I needed a nice veteran presence to close that one out.
So my top 5 bets of the week: Bucky Irving over 56.5 rushing. T. Higgins over 67.5 receiving. Lad McConkey over 66.5 receiving. AJ Brown over 86.5 receiving, and Puka Nacua over 79.5 receiving. I'm going to go and since I'm on a roll, I'm going to do my same game and moneyline parlays. My same game is Nico over 81.5 receiving, Tank Dell over 51.5 receiving in the Houston money line. That's plus 513. $10 will bring me back 61. My money line parlay is Houston, Tampa Bay, Buffalo, which I got at plus 166. Also put 10 on it to bring me back 26.55. Waleed.
All right. So I want to like I made this bet and I'm still kind of mad. I think I should have shopped somewhere else because FanDuel's doing some weird shit where they're kind of shaving the odds if you're using the same player multiple times. Because I got 2+ lines at the Nico touchdown and the Stroud over on touchdowns, but I'm only getting 314. I got Nico over 84.5 receiving yards, CJ Stroud over 2 touchdowns, and Nico with a touchdown. I get in plus 314. I use the bonus bet, so I'll get $31.41. But that same bet with Nico Collins, T. Higgins receiving over, and Lad McConkey receiving over, I'm tailing Tony's model for this parlay. None of those had plus odds. I'm getting plus 569.
Sure.
That's some shady ass shit to me.
Go figure.
Give me the right price, but I get why they're doing it because it's hedging. Because I'm still betting on the same guy. So,
right.
But it makes me mad.
Agreed.
They're trying to take away my parlay king crown.
That's true. So the my parlays are. I already did those. Ryan, you go.
My money line parlay this week, guys. Houston, Cincinnati, Tampa, and a spicy New England win. That came out to 681. So I threw 5 on that to win almost 40. And then my same game parlay, which I used the progressive boost on, was from the Houston Jacksonville game. I went BTJ's over 58.5, Nico's over 5.5 receptions, Mixon touchdown, and the Houston money line that boosted me. It was like 450 something, then it boosted me to like 619. So I put 5 on that to win a little over 35.
The Rey Mysterio special 619. All right, Waleed, your millionaire bet.
I'm going Tony Pollard 2 touchdowns at plus 1,000. $10 will pay out 110. Really, I'm only doing this because I'm trying to keep up with like these two guys, even though they got better prices. But I figure it'll give me more wiggle room next week if I win and everyone else wins because Tony's going to win. Like I like his millionaire bet's better than mine, and he's got more capital to play with.
Ryan, your millionaire bet.
Guys, I forgot the rules this week, and I did a 2 touchdown bet together, but the commissar has allowed the
This
bet to
once.
stand.
Yeah.
Josh, write his name down real quick.
Yeah. You get sent to the re-education camp.
Cersei Lannister, Ryan Edgecombe,
So
the Mountain.
So to get us, if we all hit these bets, we're all going to be right there. I mean, Tony will still be the commissar, but we'll all be back up there.
If we all hit and Tony's still the commissar, I'm going to be okay with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went with a BTJ and a Hunter Henry touchdown. Put those together to give me plus 1130 odds. $10 to give me 113.
Okay. I tried to roll this out as quick as possible. The first line I saw had Nico Collins at 85.5 receiving. Took the over at minus 115. Rolled my $66.07 into that, and if I win, it'll hit 123.52.
Yeah. This is the bet in your model that matches up best with my model, which means that like if history shows, you're gonna get an over and a touchdown. Like he's my favorite DFS play now because of it.
100 and a touch for Nico, 100 and a touch for AJ Brown, 100 and a touch for Puka Nakua, and I can call Navient and tell him to suck my butt.
Love it.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's talk DFS. We're gonna bring in Josh, the Westbrook Akine whisperer, for this segment.
Yeah, right.
Josh, are you serious?
Great call.
Oh boy,
When you're right, you're right.
Yeah, he said that this was a Nick Westbrook Akine week, and then like 10 minutes into the football games, it hits.
I don't understand how he's gonna be the only wide receiver to have a near 1-to-1 ratio between receptions and touchdowns.
There, man.
Yeah.
He's got more receiving touchdowns than Justin Jefferson this year.
Oof.
Yeah.
Just
well, in the same way that who was it on this podcast, or was it Shane that said like if Quentin Johnston scores, it's because the play broke down, It's sort
I
of like
mean-
that with Westbrook Akine, to be honest with you.
I just wanted to jokingly point out, by the way, even though this isn't a joke, the average across the league at wide receiver is you get a touchdown for about every 20 targets. Westbrook Akine averages a touchdown every 5.
Yeah, yeah.
shit.
It's-
So
I want to know where's MVS in that model. He's got to be up there too.
I don't think he has enough targets to qualify.
Oh, that makes sense.
All right, so we're going to build our DFS lineups. So as a reminder, myself, Josh, and Waleed are all playing on DraftKings. Ryan is playing on FanDuel because old habits die hard. Waleed, who's your quarterback this week?
I'm going CJ Stroud. He's got the best fantasy matchup. I'm going chalk here because I love CJ Stroud.
Okay, Josh.
I went with Anthony Richardson. I kind of agree with what Ryan said. I think that game's going to be kind of back and forth, between Drake May and Richardson. So
Okay, Ryan, your quarterback.
I was gonna go Stroud because he does so well against
Double up.
Jacksonville, but
I'm Stroud.
no, I'll switch it up, and I'm gonna go with Burrow. This
Okay.
game's good. I like the over in this game, so that means Burrow's gonna have to throw. So let's go Burrow.
Okay,
And yeah,
I'm going to double up there, and I'm also going to take Anthony Richardson. Waleed, your running back.
So this is one where I'm going real cheap. $4,000 Kamani Vidal because Chargers use 2 running backs. J.K. Dobbins out. Vidal's going to probably get carries. He's going to give me a big floor that I can pay up for elsewhere. It allowed me to get C.J. Stroud, and it's going to allow me to get a few other guys.
Okay, Josh, your running back.
So I originally had Joe Mixon, but after hearing how high you were on AJ Brown, I decided to pay down a little bit and get James Cook as my running back.
Okay.
yeah. Shane's got him for a touchdown.
It'll be a snow game. It'll be a run game.
Yeah, James Cook is one of the best running backs in football right now.
It's true.
He's been
Ryan,
consistently, and his price hasn't been like where it should be.
It's true. Ryan, who's your running back this
Yeah.
week?
I know who yours is, so I'll let you have him. But another one who's right around that salary cap, about $200 cheaper, Tony Pollard. I think it's really good value and a chance to have 100 yards and at least a touchdown this week against Washington's run defense.
Okay.
And I mean, yeah,
Tony
lot.
Pollard was one of my guys too.
until Westbrook Akine, like Josh says, gets a 50-yard touchdown.
So my play of the week actually wasn't Bucky Irving. It's also actually Tony
What?
Pollard. So let's
Oh,
go.
really?
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, secondary Bucky Irving.
there you go. So Waleed, your wide receiver.
Look, I gotta go Nico here. I'm going Stroud. I paid down for Vidal so I could make sure I could get Nico and a bunch of other really fucking good receivers in full PPR. So let's go.
Okay. Josh, your wide receiver play of the week.
Listen, Tony, I'm just a lad that loves berries and cream, so I went with Lad McConkey.
Let's go. Lad McConkey. Ryan, your wide receiver play.
I'm thinking that Baker's gonna bake, so I'm going with Mike Evans this week.
I like it.
A lot of these stacks that I'm making this week, I'm not going to be able to have AJ and Nico in the same lineup. I might be able to have one of them, but in a lot of the ones that I'm making, I'm able to get Evans in. So Evans, I like this week. He's good for a touchdown, and I think at least 70 yards.
Okay. I also took Nico Collin.
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard of him. Waleed, your tight end.
I told you I was paying down here. Tommy Tremble, 2,800. Bucks are giving up 9.1 fantasy points to the tight end position, and as far as I can tell, he's the only worthwhile tight end on that roster. So I think he's going to be a good return on his investment. And if my other picks hit, I'm going to just be rolling this week. I can't wait to put this lineup up.
All right.
Tourney.
Josh.
So I had to pay down here as well. I wanted to go Taysom Hill because I do believe in Taysom Hill bullshit becoming the status quo in a broken down New Orleans team. I went with Hunter Henry because I'm a friend of the podcast.
There we go.
All right. Well, then I will also double down on that because that was my mid-tier kind of shitty tight end of the week. And Like I said, guys, he went down $100 in salary for a player that had the team high in targets last week. Uh, Granted, it was only 8 targets, but this game's going to be a cold one. It's going to be chalky, and makes May's going to need to run the ball himself and check down to Hunter Henry, who will get his over and get his touchdown this week.
Okay. My tight end is a sneaky Pat Fryermuth.
Okay.
Nice. He was on my list too. If you listen to the
Yep.
pod, Waleed.
Yep. Waleed,
Just
who
kidding.
is
I'll,
your
I, look, I'm like 3 episodes behind. I'll catch up eventually.
Yes.
I know that.
I
Like,
I too love the evergreen content of a football podcast.
Hey, you know what? Half of that content is absolutely evergreen.
Aw. Waleed with the save. All right. Waleed, your fantasy defense of the week.
Fantasy defense of the week. We're going with the Rams against the Saints. 2,700. It's a good value. Saints are bad. Derek Carr will turn it over sometimes, so I think it's a nice safe bet that like could blow up for me, or but also shouldn't hurt me too much.
Okay. Josh?
I'm going with the Commanders. Not to say that Tennessee can't score, but more so like the sacks and possible turnovers.
Yeah, no.
yeah.
Will the defense against the Will Levis team is always a good option.
That's true. Ryan, your defense.
Guys, we're going cheap this week because there's a lot of guys that are mid to high mid tier that I want in my lineups, and this might be a defense that will allow you to have, if you pay down at quarterback, um, to have Nico and AJ in your lineup. We're going with the New England Patriots, who I think is going to be an under game. They're like, let's see, about seventh from the bottom on the list, only about 3,600 on FanDuel, probably 2,500 on DraftKings.
2,500 exactly. Way to nail it.
Yep. Um, in a game that I think that New England's going to win, and a game that I think is going to be the under, I'm all here for New England Patriots D. And shit, they might even get a touchdown on some defensive mistake or offensive mistake by Anthony Richardson.
Okay. I am betting on the Bozo meter, and my cheap defense is the New York Football Jets.
Ooh.
Seattle at
How
home,
cheap is it?
2,500.
That is a good price.
Yeah, at home against Seattle. You never know.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good money saver. I
Okay.
can't wait to see how close our lineups look to each other this week, Tony.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's it for us. Thanks for coming to Gambletown. We'll be back next week, right?
Yes, we
Yeah.
will.
Ryan and I do the TH Fantasy Podcast. Waleed writes for Football Absurdity. You do the Defensive Streamer article every week.
Except for this week, I just realized, and I'm probably not going to do it at this point.
Whoops. Don't worry about it. It's not like it's week 12 or week 13 or anything like that.
Yeah.
Josh, super producer extraordinaire. We're all of us are here. Ryan's the chat boss for Thursday Night Farceball. We got like the Thursday night game of the week this week, by the way.
Yeah.
Detroit
Yeah,
and
we
Green
awesome
Bay.
game.
And other than that, we're your friends here from Football Absurdity, TH Fantasy, and thanks for coming by.
I guess.
Yeah.